Welcome to Kaiju Mathematics. Today I will be looking at disjoint probability, specifically with the word OR. And when we have probability, it could fall into many different categories: disjoint, non-disjoint. We could have the word OR, we could have the word AND, which then gives us with and without replacement. So there's a lot of different avenues that we could travel down when looking at probability. So first, let's get an understanding of some key terms here like disjoint. Because if we don't know what disjoint is compared to non-disjoint, it's going to make things very difficult in understanding what operations we're supposed to perform in probability. So disjoint means no outcomes in common. So no overlapping outcomes. For example, to get a better idea of what that looks like, I'm going to draw out a Venn diagram. So let's look at the sample space of rolling a dice. And we'll talk about some disjoint outcomes rolling a dice. I'm going to call one event getting an even number. So an even number on a dice, 2, 4, and 6. I'm going to call the other event on a dice. Kind of messed up that a little bit. I'm going to call the other event getting an odd number on a dice. So 1, 3, and 5. Notice there are no outcomes in common here. No overlapping outcomes when rolling a dice when we're looking for the event even and we're looking for the event odd. No outcomes in common. So those events are disjoint. When we have disjoint outcomes, we're looking at the word OR here. So OR, the operation that we're going to associate with OR is addition. So typically we want to notate this with the probability of E plus the probability of F. Meaning there is no overlapping ground between E and F. So we could just add the two probabilities together and we would get our final answer of the probability of this event or that event. For example, on the dice question, if I ask the question, what is the probability of getting an even or getting an odd, I would just take the probability of getting an even, which is 3 out of 6, is 1/2, plus the probability of getting an odd, which is 3 out of 6 also, 1/2. 1/2 plus 1/2 is 6 out of 6, or 1, or 2 out of 2 if you're doing 1/2 plus 1/2. Because it makes up the entire sample space on a dice. Dice has 6 sides. 3 sides are even, 3 sides are odd. So we add even and odd together, we're going to get 1. So that's the word OR. Now, what does that look like in card questions? So let's talk about that. And if we want to pull a card, so let's ask the question, what's the probability of pulling a king or a queen? So we're pulling one card from the deck, and we want to know what is the probability of getting a king or a queen. So in a deck of cards, there are 4 kings in the deck. So how many possible kings can I pull out of the deck? If I'm pulling one card from that deck, I could pull 4 kings out of that deck out of 52 total cards. And since we're talking about the word OR, and king and queens do not have any overlapping ground. The king and queens are both unique cards. There is no such thing as a king of queens card. There is a show named King of Queens, and King of Queens is a great show, but we are looking at cards right now. So there are 4 kings, so that means we're going to add probability of getting a queen. There are also 4 queens out of 52, so 4 out of 52 plus 4 out of 52, and you could simplify those now or simplify them at the end. Not really, it doesn't really matter when you want to simplify those down. And sometimes, most cases, people will either write as a simplified fraction, or another common way of doing this is just writing as a simplified fraction. So as a simplified fraction, we get an answer of 2 out of 13, and the decimal approximation is 0.154. So that's getting a king or a queen. Now this video is not about the scenarios of what if we wanted to pull a king or a diamond, or a king or a heart, or a queen or a diamond. Now there is overlapping ground there, and that's going to be a separate video from this, but this video just focuses on disjoint probability with the word or. So no outcomes in common, so all we have to do is just add. So the probability of one event plus the probability of the other event, no overlapping ground. An example of non-disjoint with the dice would be like an even, and then a number less than 3, because 2 is a number less than 3, and it is even, so there's overlapping ground there. So that's when you're looking at probability, you got to make sure you know, is there overlap or is there not overlap? So just real quick, let me just make up a problem real quick. If I wanted to pull a single card from a deck, and I want to know the probability of a king, or a queen, or even, what if I throw in a third card there, or maybe a 3? So I want to pull either a king, a queen, or a 3. Still no overlapping cards. So 4 plus 52 plus 4 out of 52 plus 4 out of 52. And then you'd get 12 out of 52, which is going to simplify down to 3 out of 13. And the decimal approximation there is 0.231. So I hope this helps with disjoint probability in the word or. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.